The Hollowing. I. The Invitation. James Thornton was an ordinary man. Too ordinary, perhaps. 34 years old, single, and working as a freelance writer, he led a life of isolation in a small New England town. His days were spent crafting articles on folklore and urban legends, a subject he adored but never truly believed in. That was until he received the email. It was a simple message. You are invited. Attached was a single link leading to a website with a black background and white text. No images, no advertisements, just an address, Black Hollow, Vermont. James had heard of the place, but only in whispers. It was a town that had supposedly vanished from all maps decades ago. Intrigued, he searched online but found almost nothing, only scraps of forgotten forum threads and a few blurred, eerie photographs. Against his better judgment, he decided to go. 2. Arrival. The road to Black Hollow was suffocatingly quiet. No cars, no birds, just the crunch of gravel beneath his tires. When he arrived, the town looked wrong. The buildings were intact but aged beyond reason, as though untouched by human hands for 100 years. The streets were empty, yet the air was thick with an unseen presence and expectation. A single figure stood in the middle of the main street, a woman in a long, tattered dress. She didn't move as James stepped out of his car, her hollow eyes fixed on him. You came, she whispered. You shouldn't have. 3. The Hollowing. The first night, he stayed in what appeared to be an old inn. The interior was dusty but preserved, as though someone had been waiting for him. At 3:14 a.m., a sound woke him, a whisper, no, a breath against his ear. He turned sharply, but the room was empty. The walls, however, were different. They were pulsing. Over the next few days, James explored the town, and the horror grew. There were no bodies, but the evidence of people remained. Unfinished meals on tables, toys left mid-play. And then there were the shadows. They moved, even when nothing cast them. They flickered unnaturally, stretching towards him, retreating just as he turned. Then he found the journal. IV. The Journal of Carter Mayfield. The leather-bound book was buried beneath a pile of rotting cloth in what used to be a library. The entries spoke of the Hollowing, an ancient curse that consumed the town in silence. It didn't kill people in the conventional sense, it erased them. They faded, piece by piece, memory by memory, until they were only echoes in the walls. It is not death that comes for us, Carter had written in his last entry. It is forgetting. The town remembers us so we do not have to. But when it forgets, so do we. James felt the chill of realization creep up his spine. He was already forgetting details, the sound of his mother's voice, the color of his childhood home. Something was eating at him, gnawing at his existence. The Descent. The next night, James tried to record himself speaking. He watched the playback in horror as his voice faded mid-sentence. The air in the room seemed heavier, the walls darker. The town was consuming him, erasing him from existence. The people he had seen before, those shadowy figures, were now closer. Their features were indistinct, blurred, as though they had been forgotten halfway through their creation. He ventured deeper into the town, following the sound of whispers. A church stood at the town's center, its doors slightly ajar. Inside, rows of pews sat untouched, but the altar was different. It was covered in names, scratched into the wood, some of them crossed out, others barely legible. He recognized one, Carter Mayfield. A wind howled through the building, carrying with it voices, fragmented and desperate. They begged to be remembered, to not be lost. James backed away, but the doors slammed shut behind him. The final night. On his last night, he tried to leave, but the town would not let him. The road twisted back on itself, leading him in circles. The shadows no longer retreated. They reached for him, their fingers stretching into the fabric of his mind. Then, he saw them, the town's residents. Or what was left of them. Vague, half-formed figures, murmuring fragments of forgotten lives. The woman from the street stood among them, her face dissolving into a blank nothingness. "You were invited," she rasped. "Now you are part of it." James screamed, but no sound came out. His voice had been taken. His thoughts unraveled. His name slipped from his grasp. He stumbled backward, trying to hold on to something, anything, but the town was swallowing him whole. He woke up in his car, parked at the edge of a nameless road. The town was gone. His phone buzzed on the seat beside him. A new email. "You are invited." James didn't recognize the name in the sender's address. But he had the strangest feeling that he should.